Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Vasudevasutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So we are in chapter 7, the Vibhuti Yoga part of it. Today we'll be doing verse 11. And just to connect it to what we did earlier, when Bhagavan started talking about his Vibhuti, he started with, hey, I am the sapidity in the water, I am the light in the moon and the sun, I am a syllable Om in the Vedas, sound in the sky or ether, and humanity in humans, virility in men, but that's what it means, humanity in human. So these are the things which are very easy to understand what he's saying. And basically what the whole idea of Vibhuti is, how do I connect, how do I experience God? Because it's easy to say, hey, God is in everything, God is everywhere, God is within me. But how do I start connecting to him? He's giving us ways. So this is how he started. And then he, next verse, he said, I am the sweet fragrance of the earth and the brilliance and the fire, and life in all beings. So he's making it more and more subtle, as you can see. And then he says, I'm the austerity and the austere. Then he goes even further. And he says, I'm that eternal seed. So eternal, it never ends, of all beings. So everything, when he says beings, it's like achal, everything in the whole cosmos. And then he says, I'm the intelligence of the intelligent. Splendor of the splendid, tej, jo Tejasviyon mein tej hu main. And now he goes on to say even more subtle stuff. It requires a little more contemplation, and we have to go a little deeper in it. So he is saying now in this verse 11, Balam balavatam asmi kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu Kamosmi Bharatarshava. Balam, strength. Balavatam, of the strong. Asmi is am. Kam raga vivarjitam. Kama means desire. Raga means attachment. Vivarjitam means devoid of. That does not have desire and attachment. Dharma viruddha. Dharma, we have seen, it's a very loaded word. And it means, law of being, somebody's dharma. Unopposed to dharma. Dharma ke viruddh nahi jo ho, dharma viruddha. Bhuteshu, they always refer all the beings as bhuta. Because they're panch mahabhut se bane hote hain, that's why. Kamaha is desire. Bharatarshava, he's addressing Arjuna, and he's calling him, oh, Bharat Shrestha, jaise, Lord of the Bharats, or like supreme among everyone. Asmi, I am. And when he's talking, he's referring to himself, which is identified with the entire Brahman, not Krishna as the body. So let's see a little more depth in what we find in this one. So he says that I am the strength among the people who are strong. So Nikhilananji was explaining that when we talk about strength, first mind goes to the physical strength, because especially if you're very body oriented. So in the West, you're all a buff person and all that, or can fight people off, like a filmy hero or something. And not only physical strength, but there are some other strengths. It can be strength in the mind, strength in the intellect, strength in the personality, action, strength in the words, all of that. So we have to think of this as in a broad way. So he was just saying that how do we kind of understand? He's saying that there are some Mahatmas, say, whose actions were so strong that the effects are even seen today. And all these great people, great Mahatmas who came to the West, it could be Prabhupada ji, it could be Chinmayanand ji, Yogananda, Vivekananda. I mean, till today, everybody talks about and the effects, and more people join, more people, carry on their torch, and more centers are open. It just, their actions, whatever they did, has such a snowball effect of positivity. So that's the strength we are talking about, And so, he was just saying that however Pujya Gurudev Chinmayanandji's action, we are seeing the results now. This class that is happening, it's because of his, strength that I'm even making an attempt to study this, so all of that. And then he was saying that some words can be so powerful that even after centuries they are spoken. And here is Bhagavad Gita. Look at it. 5,000 years ago, and we are still delighted, and so much depth in it, lasts for centuries, Words of Lord Shri Krishna, he had uttered it at Mahabharata war 5,000 years ago, and it's relevant even today. Everything is relevant in it. So he was just joking, Nikhilanjan, he's saying it's not like a newspaper that you read it one day and then discard it, throw it out the next day, no value, all nonsense, half of it, Just a little bit of comparison he was giving, that how the strength can be a vibhuti. But most important thing in this, he did say that I am balam balavatas asmi, but then he immediately said kama raga vivarjitam. So there he gave an adjective to this bala. Kis type ka bal? Okay, the bal kama or raga jisme nahi hota. So devoid of desire. And when he talks about desire over here, always remember that it is like selfish desire, me and mine kind of thing. And no rag means no attachment in it. Attachment, Swamiji describes as I plus I want. First, your ego is there, and then I want this. That's called attachment. So we have to distinguish between selfish desire and good desire. But and then there is another aspect to this, a little subtle aspect. काम और राग में क्या होता है कि काम यानी desire वो होती है if I don't have something and I want it, that's where the desire. It could be anything, material thing, it could be emotional thing, relationship, whatever I don't have, I want it. That's called kama. And then raga is whatever I have, I don't want it to go. That's attachment to it, So that's where it comes. So people are always striving for these two things in the world. Whatever I don't want, I want to get it. Whatever I have, I want to preserve it. That kind of feeling. And then, if it is completely selfish oriented, so it develops, still it will create balam, because the energy is created. If I really want something, I will do so much khatpat to get it. So that also is a balam only, but he's not talking about that kind of balam. So that's what the difference is. Okay, and the same way about attachment can create strength also. When you're, like, it may not be the best example, but like a mother and a child, because of the strong attachment, she gets all this power. She's ready to fight with the whole world for a child or something, So just giving an idea that how attachment can give a bala also. But here he says, the balam which is devoid of those two things. That's the most important thing. So what happens is that when these, there is a great strength in people's words, personality, action, and all beings, when it is free of that selfish desire. So all the people that we gave the example, who were doing it for, they call it lok sangraha word is used in Bhagavad Gita. It's like harmony of the harmony of the earth or world, and doing lok kalyan and all that. Where does it come from? Because it's devoid of that attachment and raga and kama, desire and attachment. So because what happens is, he was just explaining a little bit science behind it, that when a person becomes free of desire, then whatever thought that comes into their mind, it belongs to God. You know, I don't know if Joe is here today, because he talks about that. No, that you connect to that universe. The universe is making you do, then you become pure. Your intentions and all that, everything becomes purer. That's what happens. So and what happens is, when my selfish desire comes in, then my strength becomes limited. It's just for me and mine and all. It's not gonna do. That's why some of these people who are able to achieve so much, सारे लोग जुड़ जाते हैं उनसे. You know, that the universe helps them to achieve these big goals. You know, like I was, like we share all these Sadhgurus thing. He wanted to plant some trees, in South India, and he said that in the beginning his group said it's impossible to do this, and he finished it faster and he planted more trees because sab jud gaye usse. That's that strength he's talking about, because he was not doing it for himself. He was not to beautify his garden or something. He was doing it for the whole world. So that's how we have to see it. And then he gave another example about, when you are kama raga vivarjitam, devoid of desire and attachment, then you as though become person for a bigger cause. For example, he said, when a prime minister or a president speaks, he speaks for the whole nation. His voice, is as a representative of the whole nation. And he addresses the whole nation, not as an individual. He's not doing that. Or an ambassador when he goes to another country. He's representing the whole universe. Not whole universe. His country. So same way, if I drop my own egoistic and selfish notion, then my thoughts become Bhagwan's thoughts. That's why that kind of science we can't explain. And then if any desire still sprouts in my mind, it belongs to God. So there is a very beautiful saying that I heard, that usually, we start something and we say, God, please bless this endeavor, right? There's nothing wrong with it, but just a drishtant I'm doing. So somebody said, hey, why don't you do God's work, because already blessed. You don't need to do all these rituals and all that. So, I thought that was an interesting thought. And then another very interesting thing, he said, we don't think about it. He's saying that when you approach a Mahatma, suppose, and you do namaskar, and he gives a blessing to us, right? And sometimes, we have all these, this I'm adding on my own, but I've seen that people will say, oh, this so-and-so gave me a blessing and it came true. And it may be a very difficult thing, but, it could be very simple desire. Yeah, I want to get this job, or I want to, get over this pain or something. Or it can be something more complicated and all that. So how does that happen? He's saying that because when the Mahatma is giving his Ashirvad, actually it is coming from the higher only. He's not giving it. Okay? He becomes a source for the higher, because it's so pure, And so it's not an individual who is saying this, according to him. This is as though Lord is saying it. That's how we have to see. So what we can do is, he said that we can practice this, dropping this sense of I, my sense of ego whenever, I'm doing. And that's why he said all our prayers, like Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. So what is the translation? It's not saying, I am saying that everybody should be happy. That's not how it goes. It says, let all be happy. Let all. That's the language, because you are not bringing your own self in it over there, not I statement. So you are not saying it. So it as though enters the totality. It's for the entire thing, and then it gets fulfilled. So this is the science of prayer he was talking about. So, we everybody knows this prayer, that the whole thing is may, or even sometimes we say, oh, may you be free from disease, or, be happy and all that. Either let everybody be or may you be. Both are similar language. But it is, you're taking out your own ego out of it and doing it as a universal thing, And then if you do it this way, so as though Bhagwan is expressing through me. That's how, we can practice this. So he's saying that if the I-ness and my-ness comes, it's the same thought. Then again, the strength gets reduced and all that. So the less I-ness and my-ness, better, stronger this, and will become Bhagwan's vibhuti. And he's saying that's why the saints and sages are all like a channels for Bhagwan, doing Bhagwan's work, his ashirvad, his blessings, because in reality, only Bhagwan can bless us. He has that power. He alone has a power, So, and we know that in Bhagavad Gita later on, he will tell Arjuna, Nimitta Matra Bhava, Savyasachin. He just become the instrument. We all have to become instruments only. So, what is the conclusion? The Bhagwan says that the strength that is in your words, action, feeling, whatever it is, it's me only. And now, little more subtle things and contradictory. Just because in Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, there are sometimes contradictory statements are there to jog your mind and to go take you deeper. Immediately, पहले तो बोल दिया कि ये बल होगा कि without desire. Then he say, wait a minute, desire भी का भी power मैं हूँ, but कौन सी type की desire? That is the most important thing. Because see, even studying this Bhagavad Gita is a desire. Right? All of us are doing it, or hey, I want to connect to God, or anything, or I want to do some good work. Everything starts that way from a desire. To go to that totally highest level is going to take time. So there are some aspects of desire that are vibhuti also. That's what he's trying to tell us now, immediately in the next thing. So he's saying what kind of desire? That it is in tune with dharma, जो धर्म विरुद्ध ना हो desire. ऐसी desire भी मेरी विभूति है. That's what he says. Dharma viruddha bhuteshu. Kamosmi bharatarshabo. That's what he's explaining. So when the desire arises in my mind, which is not against righteousness, that is my vibhuti. So he's saying that, Chinmayananji is going to go take us to another deeper level when we read it, that the desire to connect with God. But even the simple things that we need in our life, maintaining our body or performing my duty for myself, family, society, all those, start with the desire only. And if it is in tune with the righteousness, which is, and righteousness means immediately it's not going to be just for myself or something, then it's not going to be a vibhuti, But here, even maintaining my body, it's like, I'm maintaining the body so I can do my duty. See what I'm saying? So it's not, I'm going to just polish my face and look pretty. Nothing like that. I need to be healthy so that I can do something. So those kind of things you have to think about when, the vibhuti part. So this is also my vibhuti. And then he's, Bharata Sharva, we already said that it means, best among he's addressing, it's a psychology, he's telling Arjuna that, you are my vibhuti too, if you do the right way. If you get up and fight the war, and later on he's going to say that I am Arjuna among, all the Pandavas. So he was just saying that how I express his desire as long as it is in tune with righteousness. There's another way of looking at it. And then what Nikhilananji also reminded us that these kind of desire, which are the vibhuti desires, they bring out the change in the world. It's like a positive transformation that happens, in the world, is that kind of desire. And he's saying that when Mahatmas, they do a sankalp. You know what is sankalp, right? Like almost like taking a stand or a vow that, hey, I want to do this. So that sankalp is taken by all these Mahatma. Those are good desires. Like our, Swamiji, Chinmayananji, he took a sankalp when he finished all his studies with his guru. He was sitting by the Ganga river in the Himalayas, and he looked at the Ganga. He said, Ganga is flowing down, taking, as though taking its knowledge everywhere. And he wanted to bring, because he just felt that this knowledge can be so useful for anybody and everybody. So why should I not? Because he had the capability, he had, the language, he knew how to do it. So he took his guru's ashirvad, he took a sankalp to spread this knowledge to everybody. So those are the vibhuti sankalp, or these good desire, you can call it, which is not against dharma. So this is how Lord Krishna revealed his vibhuti, in everything. So how to experience the God. So now one more very important thing. What Nikhilanandji was saying, that when we are experiencing, now that we have learned how to experience it, we have to feel it. So that bhav has to be created within us. How do I kind of connect to this vibhuti? The bhav has to be created. In the beginning, I may not have it, but you have to develop that. So he's saying that how all the rituals that you have in India, and because we are all from India, we already know कितने rituals हैं अपने Hinduism में. So वो concept कहाँ से आया ritualism का? वो ये विभूति के through ही आया है, because how to see God in everything, and that's why we worship all different things, right? Trying to see God in it. So, but he's saying that the danger of it, he was giving an example. If we forget about the Bhagwan's vibhuti, forget about what the purpose of the rituals are. He's saying, suppose somebody wants to do a arti of Ganga, or puja of Ganga. So what is the real idea behind it? To see divinity in Ganga, right? Hey, Ganga is pavitra and all, it's a vibhuti of Bhagwan. Because in Vibhuti Yoga chapter 10, he's going to say, among all the rivers, I'm Ganga. Yeah? So, but nowadays he's saying that people will go with a list of doing this puja, which is fine, nothing wrong with it. And then how to do the puja, उसी पे सारा focus करेंगे. ये flower डालो, वो flower डालो, वो सब करो, फिर plastic का bag भी उसमें फेंक देंगे. So he's saying that Ganga Mata is going to say, please मेरी पूजा मत करो. छोड़ दो मुझे. So he was just reminding, see, these are things we don't think about, because he's saying puja means reverence for something, for higher self and to God. So he's saying that reverence की वजह से ये उपचार वगैरह किया, उसको प्लीज मत भूल जाना. अगर तुमको नहीं करना है रिचुअल तो मत करो, उससे कुछ नहीं होगा, लेकिन reverence मत छोड़ो. So that's what he was trying to say. I thought he brought such a beautiful point he brought. So this is how he is revealing his vibhuti in this verse. Any question, comment, or anybody wants to add anything to this verse? Okay, I guess we all have become expert on vibhuti. Ready for when the chapter 10 comes. We'll know what it is. Okay, so I think last time Neeluji wanted to read. Are you up to reading today? Yeah. Oh, we can't hear you, Neeluji. You're
Sorry, my apologies. Of the strong, I am the strength, devoid of desire and attachment. In all beings, I am the desire, unopposed to dharma, or best amongst the Bharatas. Shall I carry on?
Yeah.
Having thus served with different examples to the seekers of the average intelligence and the dullest in this stanza, the Lord is trying to indicate the eternal self to the most intelligent students who have the capacity to do subtle reflections upon such philosophical ideologies.
So he was just saying that in the previous verses, the examples were very simple and, anybody could understand. This one is requires more deeper reflection. And in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan addresses all kinds of people, not just, so anybody can connect in whatever way they want, but he's just saying that this verse requires a little more contemplation. Yeah.
I am the strength in the strong. This statement is evidently as easy to comprehend as the example given in the previous stanza. But the statement outshines the previous set of examples because here Krishna uses a phrase, Qualifying balam. Generally, an individual expresses his might and strength only when he is goaded by his desires or attachments.
So we discussed, and then whatever these Puranic stories are, all those Rakshasas, look, how much halla gulla they do for their balam, because of the desire and attachment they are doing it. Yeah.
Without these two inner urgencies, it is impossible for us to see any expression of might or strength. Desire, kama, and attachment, raga, are generally considered by students of Vedika literature as almost synonymous, but Shankacharya in his commentary has very thoughtfully given us the destination between these two powerful impulses.
Distinction between this difference. That's the word, distinction.
Between these two powerful impulses.
Yeah.
Yes. He says kama is desire for what is absent at present in the scheme of our life, and raga is affection for what one has obtained. These are the two emotions lashed up by which individuals or communities or societies or nations generally come to explode themselves to express their might and strength, bala. Riots and agitations, battles and wars are all ever motivated by these two dangerous urges. Very well said. In the subtle definition of the self, the Lord here brings a new light of thought here for the contemplation of the seeker. He says, the self is not merely the strength in the strong, but I am the strength devoid of desire and attachment.
So we all kind of got it, right? That all the different things that we see, negative riot, agitation and all, that's also an expression of the balam only. And then somehow if we just think of, strength, then our mind goes into all that. But he's talking about another one, balam, and then we discussed that what the other kind of balam is, which is more like a vibhuti. So I was just thinking that it is something like, God has given us all the powers, but how we use it, now it's up to us. Whether we want to make it a vibhuti of God or become an instrument of God, or just bring my own ego and selfishness and just do some horrible acts, in the world. So here he's giving it to you.
As though not satisfied with his own definition, the Lord gives yet another example. I am desire in beings, unopposed to dharma. We had explained the term dharma as the law of being. The essential factor is man is the divine consciousness. All actions, thoughts, and ideas entertained by him, which are not opposed to the nature of his essential divine essence, constitute his dharma. All actions and thoughts that hasten the evolution of man to rediscover his essential divine nature are considered righteous actions, dharma, which all activities of the mind and intellect that take him away from his true divine nature and make him behave like an animal and degrade him in his evolutionary status are called unrighteous behavior, adharma.
So now that he gave a very nice definition, very simple, that what is dharma or adharma? Dharma is that takes you higher, adharma that devolves you. That's it. You don't even need some big, be a rocket scientist to know. Very simple definition also will do it. So that's what he's saying, that anything, and then humans, real dharma is that because it's a divine consciousness, that's our nature. And that's why, we all want that, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, but we just don't know how to get it. So that's why we go in the world doing all kind of things, trying to get this little happiness, because we crave for that. We crave for infinity. We crave for a permanent happiness. That's what it is.
With this understanding of the term dharma, the second line of the stanza becomes very clear. All desires that are not unrighteous before the beings, therefore means the glorious urge in the evolvers to meet their own inner weaknesses courageously and bring out a complete consummation of their evolutionary urge to seek and to discover the goal of self perfection. This is the subtle power that is indicated here. The Lord says, I am not the sadhaka, but I am the burning aspiration in him to discover and become one with the immutable self.
So he's just telling you that all the things that people strive for to connect with him, to the higher self, that is that desire, that good desire is him only. He doesn't say that he said, I am that desire. That's another very, very interesting thing, that it is that him only. Yeah. So this is how you experience. So next time when we get this urge, to do something noble and higher, we should know there's God in us expressing. Yeah.
By the above examples, does it mean that the spirit has been really captured and imprisoned in my matter? How can the limited limit the unlimited?
It's a riddle he's talking about, because here it's a very again, these are like contradictory statements are going to come. Basically, he's going to say that even though I am in everything, I am still different from it. It's like sunshine. That's the best example. Touches everything, is as pure as it can be. Nothing can contaminate, even space, nothing can contaminate space. No matter big nuclear explosion can happen, but the space, it cannot touch the space the same way. All that is going to come. But I find the chapter 7 very, very nice, beautiful. Yeah. Any comment, question, discussion? Anybody wants to add anything?
I have a question here.
Yeah, sure.
Where it says, but I am the burning aspiration in him to discover and become one with the immutable self.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true for every human being?
We have the capacity to do that, but not every person will express it. Because
Why not?
because of our own selfish desire, we cover it up. Because we whatever we learned in chapter 3 and all that the wisdom get covered by our own negativity, all the kam, krodh, lobh, moh, mad, matsarya that we have in our mind, as though the cloud is covering the sun. The sun actually never goes away, but say daytime, the sun is there and a big huge cloud comes and there's no sunshine, sun is gone, I can't see anything, I can't see sunlight. So among those people, their own desires and this and that have just covered the divinity. Anilji, there are people in this world, if you tell them anything about God, they will say, who God? What God are you talking about? I don't believe in God. उनको वो God word से एलर्जी होती है. या किसी को बोलो कि कोई गीता क्लास में जाओ, what are you talking about? Am I not some old dying person that I'll go? There are people like that who will not connect. So what are you going to say about that? I don't know.
So is it because of their vasanas from previous?
Yeah, and that does not mean that they are not going to reach the goal. They will. Like Swamiji said, it already came, that verse. Very interesting verse it was. That, people have sattvic nature, people have rajasic, overall nature I'm talking about, rajasic and tamasic. So जो सात्विक होते हैं ना, उनकी desires और ये जो covering होती है ना, which is like a little धुआं की तरह, थोड़ी सी हवा ही वो चला जाता है, and then they see the divinity, they do their sadhana, right? Then the very rajasic people, they said it is like dust on the mirror. You got to scrub it. So you got a little more effort. थोड़ा पूजा पाठ, ये वो जो भी है, sadhana, ये करो जप करो तप करो and all that, and then it will go away and then you see the divinity. Third kind is, they said, the womb that covers the fetus. That's the example they gave. So that means the fetus has to mature 9 months before it can see the light of the world. It has to take birth, literally. So these people, what Swamiji has used the language, they have to be baked in this heat. जैसे womb का heat में बेचारा बच्चा, so that has to be just an example, huh? That they have to take birth. It take 9 months. इतना time लगेगा. So कई जन्म लग जाएंगे उनको. Because कभी कभी ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन देखते हैं कि इवन क्रिमिनल्स में हो जाता है ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन. They have done such horrible crime, and then somebody, in jails and all, these Mahatmas go and do some class for meditation. I mean, or Shri Ravi Shankar ji does it, goes and talks to all these hardcore criminals, and one or two of them totally change, and they say, my God, and they go on that path. And in our Puranas, we have that Valmiki ji, and all that he was a roadside robber and how he changed. So in the end, they will, but it's just a question of time. That's how I will see it. So it's not like they're doomed forever. There's no such thing as you will be in hell for eternity in our Sanatan Dharma. No, that does not exist. I don't know if that answers that question.
Every lifetime, no matter what your vasanas, every lifetime is a chance to clear everything.
Yes. That's for sure. That's how we have to look at it. It's like a chance given to you that you can escape. Yes, definitely. No doubt. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then one more verse, Anilji. He had already talked about that among thousands of men, only one gets interested, and then the one of them will go deep into it, and they're very rare. So it is a rare thing. But I think two things I would say that, like you said, one is every Janam is a chance, and secondly, everybody will get there. But we just don't know when. But we want to go on a little fast track. That's what we are trying to do. Sit in some rocket or something instead of some Belgadi. Any other? Okay, so we can close Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja am tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami ma shuchah. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.